Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of The Land of Saurus. And today we're going to work on a project that I've needed to work on for a little while now, but more so than ever due to the fact that I am running very low on firework rockets, and I don't exactly have a gunpowder source at the moment. I really need to start getting a lot more gunpowder happening. And at the moment in our stocks, I've only got 5 gunpowder. So this situation's about to get pretty annoying pretty quickly if I have to start, fighting a whole bunch of creepers to get gunpowders. So I think it's going to be about time for me to set up a mob grinder again. Maybe we'll call it mob grinder 2.0, since the last one that we had, which we ironically blew up. Now, I've been doing some research on mob grinders, and I have come up to a decision of what mob grinder I want. And I'll show you what grinder that will be. We're looking at block 63 here. Okay, so cool. So we need to start this off at fairly down low, and we need a 5x5 area for this mob grinder. So I'm going to clear this out, and then I'll hop onto the creative world, and I'll show you guys what this mob grinder is and how it's going to work. And this here is the mob farm that we'll be creating. This is also I think it's a design that's sort of been around for a while, but this particular guy, I watched a particular guide on this particular the exact dimensions of this particular mob grinder. So this was from a YouTuber by the name called Nembomb, and I'll put a link in the description to send you all to his videos if you want to figure out how to build this and want a really in-depth guide on how these sorts of mob grinders work. So we need a 5x5 area here for the mobs to fall into. And then just underneath here as well, I've set up a bit of a item sorter too. So this is more or less what we're going to be building. It's not going to be terribly complicated. It will take, a few hours of work to get everything all set up. But yeah, we're going to have a nice area like this. And yeah, so we'll build all that underground, and we'll have the area where all the mobs are landing into, and we'll build this giant structure here as well. And then we'll also have an AFK platform that we can sit on, which will allow us to just sit here, load the whole grinder as well, and get as many drops as we can. So I'm gonna hop back into my normal world, and from there we will begin to construct this thing. Okay, so I've just got a few things prepared. We've got some of the redstone stuff that we need, some scaffolding blocks, the observers and the dropper and etc., all that kind of stuff. All of our building blocks that we're going to need, some water buckets that we'll need. There's nothing in this chest. And then we've just chucked our ender chest here with our shulkers in it, just in case we need to think of anything, and our crafting table. We also have our 5x5 hopper area. So the next thing that we need to do is get some of these blocks happening, and we need to pillar up. This is set at layer 63, so we need to pillar up, so we're looking at block 93. So we're going to go all the way up to 93, and then we're going to start building out from there. Let's just get up to 90, 91, 92, 93. There we go. So this is how high the lower section of the platform needs to be. Then we need to go 7 blocks out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we need to make a little bit of a diamond shape here. So we don't need to put these end ones here. So then we just make a bit of a diamond shape by zigzagging across, and then we fill in the inside of this. Something feels wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay. So this one wasn't out long enough. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one wasn't out long enough either. It looks like I didn't actually count to 7 on half of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, let's just fix this up. Alright, that's a bit better. And then we just need to fill in the middle a bit. Okay, my mistake. It is actually, we need to still go out another 2 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is where we need to be at. So for the next part, we need to wrap a ring around the whole thing as well. So this is just going to be where all the water cascades essentially down, making sure that we capture all of the mobs into this one central location. Okay, so we now have this shape going on, and if I've done everything correctly, when I place a bucket here, it should just flow straight into the middle. So now we need to go around and get all of these water buckets in here like this. All around the edges here, and then we can take out these side blocks. So we only managed to get about this far around, but if we head back over here, we also need to get some signs to sort of fix this situation too. So don't worry, that won't be a permanent feature, but how many more buckets do we have in here? Okay, so we've still got a fair amount of buckets, but let's just fill up the rest as well with water, and we'll just chuck some of these items away because we don't really need them right now. So let's get another 11 buckets worth. And then we should be able to swim up here with relative ease. And then start placing in the rest of these buckets. And there we have it. So now we should be able to remove all of these blocks around the sides here. And that will be that part all done. This is just going to be the pushing platform for all of the mobs. So I'm going to come around this edge here and just remove all of these blocks. Very careful to not remove the wrong block, because I'm fairly sure that can mess up the entire flow of the water. So I've got to be very careful, unlike how I was just then. Okay, excellent. So that is our spawning platform done. So now we need to try and figure out, well, we need to get some signs on here, although this does make a very cool looking waterfall. So we need to get some signs up here, but then we need to start also placing in our observers and our, our observers pretty much. So I'm going to go grab the observers. I'm going to pick up some of these blocks around here as well, waste not, want not, and go grab some signs quickly from my storage. What is going on over here? Was that? No? I thought I saw a broken farmland block. I hate saying those. Okay, so I'm going to head over quickly to my base now and get that. Okay, so we have now blocked off this waterfall stream by using some signs here, and we're just going to pillar up a little bit so we're here, and we're going to start putting in these dispensers. So the way that we do this is that we go up 2 blocks, and then we add in a dispenser, and then up 2 blocks, and add in a dispenser. And we do this all the way up to, I believe, layer 126, something along those lines. So yeah, we'll end up with something like 11 different platforms, I think. So I'm just going to sort this out, and then we'll start making ourselves some platforms. Okay, so once we have all of those dispensers in, we want to then put in a dropper. And then I have forgotten to bring with me the platforms, but then we need to, well, actually, no, yeah, we can start building platforms going up the side of this thing. So I'm going to go get some slabs, and then we're going to start making a whole bunch of platforms now. So I've got some slabs in here, I'm pretty sure, yeah, but I'm going to need a lot more than that. That'll probably be alright just to start with. So yeah, and I should probably take another stack. Well, okay, I've got a whole stack of them here. Cool. So we've done a few layers now. I'll just go for a quick little fly to give you an idea. So these are all the layers that we've done now. So I'm just putting like lights in them as we go along as well, just to stop mobs from spawning. So I need to chuck a couple of lights down in here as well. But yeah, we're definitely making progress, and I'm putting in the observers as I go up as well, so the observers will see when a water gets dispensed, and when a water gets, so it'll send like a row of water along all of these. So I've got to fill up all of these dispensers with water as well. So we've just got to still keep working our way up to the top here to try and get all of these platforms built up, and then we've got to build a mega big platform at the very top as well, because at the top we need to make sure that we're getting rid of not just the light that comes from the sky, but we've got to like expand it out even further so the light on all of these platforms reaches 0. So we're going to be casting a massive shadow around here as well, which is going to look pretty cool, I think, having this structure up here in the sky. Alright, so we have now completed putting in the last of our spawning platforms, and this is quite a tall beast. So I'm actually going to fly off and see what it looks like from a distance, because this is going to be quite a large build, sitting just over the top of our base like this. And look, I think it looks pretty cool to have this here. Just going to land on the top of my castle. So this will be pumping out a lot of drops, ideally. Hopefully it works the way it's supposed to. But yeah, I think this is going to make an awesome addition to the base. But now we have to put on the roof, and the roof is going to require like a much larger top put on top of it. So I'm going to start working on that roof. I don't know if I've got enough slabs for it. I'm going to hope that I do. So we just got to yeah, put on the roof and then do some redstone trickery, and we shouldn't be too far from completion at that point. We just then would need to be setting up a nice big storage area. So I've put this whole build in a location where I'm hoping that just sort of running around my base, I'll be spawning a lot of it, but obviously for the farm to be in full effect, we'll need to put a spawning platform above the whole thing as well, and that'll make sure that if we ever need a lot of drops in a very short period of time, we'll be able to get those up and running. But I'm going to start building the top layer now, so we've got to use bottom slabs to stop mobs spawning on top of this. But yeah, this is going to be a much larger platform to block out, make it so that on every single one of the previous spawning platforms is completely in 0 darkness. So we've got to go the 7 blocks along to here, but then we've got to go another 14 blocks out beyond that as well. So it's quite a large platform that we build up at the top here. Okay, so now we have finished putting in all of our platform up at the top. We now need to make a bit of a redstone clock to activate all of the water dispensers that we're going to have. So we're going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we need to bring the redstone circuit back around, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll need some more space along here. And now what we need to do is we need to get our repeaters. Where are they? That one. And we need to make a bit of a clock here. So we set all of these up along like this, and then back down, then back down this way. and then we need to set all of them onto full ticks. So that way it'll last a reasonable amount of time, one whole circuit of this. And then we need to have on one end, we need to have a lever and a comparator. So we'd need a comparator like, oh no, we need a little bit more on the end here. So like this, and then we have a redstone dust coming out here into a comparator that we put there, and we switch that on, and then we have this, and that will allow us to turn this the whole thing on and off. I have no idea what the comparator does. I've just followed a guide on this. I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to redstone, but my understanding is now that if I switch this on, we will now get a nice long pulse that'll go through here. So that'll switch on all the dispensers, and that pulse will come all the way back through here. And then once it gets back here, the redstone signal should repeat, but it would go off. And then once it all goes off, all of the redstone all of the dispensers go back in, comes back around, and it switches it back on. And if we ever decide that we want to turn this whole circuit off at any point, all we have to do is click that, and then the whole thing will be switched off. Oh, it looks like we're being attacked by some phantoms as well. So now the next step is to now the next step is going to be attempting to, well, not attempting, it's not like it's going to be a particularly difficult challenge, but the next step is going to be putting all of the dispensers into the correct places, and then actually switching it on for the first time and seeing how well this thing starts to produce drops. So I'm going to go get the water buckets and start putting everything in. All off the edge here, but we should be expecting a lot more mobs than that once we actually turn the dispenser system on. So I am just gonna, I've taken away the torches that were on the inside, and I've taken away all the scaffolding and everything, so our system is fully up in the air. So I'm just going to go for another little flight up here, and this is good because we're going to really need that gunpowder. I'm on to my last 5 rockets, so this is going to come in incredibly handy. So we're just going to switch this mob farm on. So we'll switch it on now, and that should start getting all of the water buckets dispensed as it comes over that part there. Excellent, so we heard those dispense. So if we just pop out now and start heading around here, we should see that there are quite a few mobs coming through this system and being pushed down out here, and we can see them all dropping down there like that. So this is definitely working very well, like incredibly well, and they are all just falling all the way down and dying pretty much instantly. The only ones that aren't going to die are mobs that have feather falling enchantments on their gear, but they will sort of eventually despawn anyway, so they're not going to be too much of an issue. And we can see that, you know, all these mobs are coming in rounds as well as they're getting pushed off the edge. At the moment, this isn't the ideal place to be standing, but you know, there will be certain places, there will be a platform that we can put up at the top, and that'll be like the ideal place for a spawning platform where we can stand, and we'll be getting the maximum amount of mobs spawning in this space as possible. So as for these ones that aren't like fully dying, we can always just come down and give them a little bit of a shot. You know, things like that. I think our hopper has already started to fill up, so we're going to have to start heading down underneath this thing and begin trying to make ourselves a big room and a nice large storage system for all of our nice new delicious mob drops. So I'm going to get down underneath this thing and start building a nice big spawning platform for it. Okay, so I'm going to give this thing a proper test. So we've got it just chucked a quick chest down here. Now, for this thing to work at full potential, we need to be way, way up in the sky. And I've built a little platform up there. I'm going to see if I can land on it okay, because it's pretty high up. That's it there. So it might be somewhat challenging to get to. Now let's see if we can find it. There it is. Let's try and slow ourselves down and land on it gracefully. So if we stand up here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll see just how many drops we manage to get. So ideally what will be happening right now is that there'll be huge quantities of mobs just spawning in that space, because we've unloaded all of the caves around the area. The only places that mobs can spawn at the moment are going to be directly where that spawner is. So if we're standing here on this sea lantern, we should be getting massive amounts of mobs spawning, but unfortunately it's a little bit difficult to tell because of the angle that we're looking at it from. But we've been up here for like maybe 30-40 seconds already, and there's probably been a few rounds that have gone on now. So just with that, I reckon maybe we can just go down here. Let's see if there are any mobs in there. So there's definitely mobs spawning. And once the thing triggers, they'll all get pushed down too. So that's all well and good. So let's just see how many drops have managed to get into that chest though, while we're up there, and see if things were going as we hoped they would be. So let's just have a quick look in here. And as we can see, we are definitely getting a fairly reasonable number of drops. So this is excellent news. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head to the top again, and I'm going to chill out there for quite some time, and I'm going to see exactly what we get dropping in here, because knowing what we're going to get dropping in here is going to help us make our sorting system as well. So I'm going to head back up there for a while, and now that we've got a bit of gunpowder, I can actually make some more rockets as well, which is what I really needed. So now we don't have to worry so much about the rocket situation. We've managed to get in there just in time. But yeah, I'm going to head back up to the top and chill out there for a little while and just see what exactly is dropping and what we're going to need to build an automatic sorting system for. Just a bit of a storage system here, just an automatic storage system that connects directly to our hoppers here. We've just heard a couple of monsters fall, but I'm just going to fly up to the spawning platform for a little while. And we're going to see if everything has been sorted out into these chests quite the way we kind of wish they would be. So yeah, I am gonna head up to the top of my platform and chill out there for a couple of minutes and see if those chests start filling up properly. Alright, so I've been up in my glass box for a couple of minutes now, so let's just... Oh, I've just popped straight up and then back out. So let's just head back down to the base and see if everything managed to go into the correct locations. Ooh. There we go. Not the smoothest landing in the world, but it wasn't terrible. So we'll just run down here real quick and see how well these items have been sorted. So what do we got in here? We got, yes, we got the string falling in there nicely. This is for spider eyes, but we're only going to get those from witches, so witches probably aren't going to drop very often. We've got bones here, so that's pretty good as well. We've got arrows, definitely enough arrows, a bunch of rotten flesh, and finally a bunch of gunpowder. So this looks like it's working pretty well. And then this is just going to be for all the other sort of witch drops, I guess. I wanted to make a decent storage system here for string and spider eyes, so we can start moving the stuff out from the spider cave spawner, because that's pretty much obsolete now. We won't be using that anymore. So now I'm going to build a nice big room for storing all of these items and expand out this storage system to a point where I feel like we have enough stuff in there. So yeah, I'm going to have to dig out quite a big space now. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do next. much at the moment. However, we have expanded the storage system, so we should now be getting all of our drops coming specifically into these chests all the way down at the bottom and just sort of working their way up the line. So there's quite a lot of storage available here, so we shouldn't have to worry about running out of anything in the short term. And this is what I'm mostly happy about, is the fact that we've got gunpowder coming in on a semi-regular basis now. So that's going to make things a lot nicer for us. Of course, I don't think that I really need to have this room here, because this is just where we've got the redstone for the sorting system. But I don't really see why. Oh, well, we might want to add more things in later, so I'll keep this door here for the moment. But I've got to figure out how I'm going to shape this staircase and this room, and then actually make another proper room down here. So that's something that I'm going to go work on now, and yeah, see what I can come up with. Alrighty, so it would seem that we have made something. It's nothing great, but we've got just a little room in here that leads us over to our redstone. So if we do decide to expand out this storage system later, for the witch drops maybe, that's something that we can always look into. And then, yeah, once if we go down here, then this will lead us into our drop room as well. So this is where all the witch drops are, gunpowder. Geez, we've already gotten quite a bit of gunpowder. You know, all of this good stuff. It all is just going to collect here. So yeah, this is now, as far as I'm concerned, pretty well complete. We now have a reliable source of hostile mob drops, so we're not going to have to worry about that for a while. And now we can use as many rockets as we like whenever we want without having to worry that we're ever going to run out, because we have plenty upon plenty of gunpowder. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been a fun episode to make. I've really enjoyed building this mob grinder, and I really appreciate you guys watching this episode. I have a little bit of an announcement as well for this episode as well. So I've pre-recorded a bunch of my episodes recently, which means that you won't see this until quite a period of time after I've actually recorded it. However, I'm happy to announce that after this episode, this world will be becoming a server. I'll be making this world a server for other content creators, such as streamers and YouTubers, and we'll be working together on some very large-scale projects, hopefully, in this world, to try and, you know, promote a bit of a community and, you know, do some amazing things. So that's just a little bit of a special announcement that I've got for this episode. There's not really much more to say. So in the next episode that comes out for you guys, there should be more than one person on this world with me playing. So we can go hang out with some people. We can start working on some much bigger projects. And I'm looking forward to this next era of this world. But yeah, thanks again so much for joining me. I really appreciate your support. And if you hit that like button or hit that subscribe button, that all goes to helping out this server, but helping me out as well to grow as a channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do that for me. But until next time, I will head off, and I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you so much for joining.